everybody, and thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I have a special guest, and I will tell you who she is. But first, I want to say thank you very much to Liberty Save. There's one of my sponsors. They are the Americans' #1 manufacturer of gun safes, fire safes, and home safes. Over 2 million owners have found the peace of mind that comes with owning a gun safe. And also want to say thank you to the NSSF. This is the Firearms Industry Association, and the National Shooting Sport Foundation works to promote, protect, and preserve hunting and the shooting sports. How awesome is that? I'm so proud to be part of those companies and proud for their support. So today, like I told you, I have an amazing lady, India, and on the list. She's going to be with me in a few seconds. And she doesn't need an introduction. I think most people in the firearms industry know who she is, but for those few, just those few who don't know who she is, I want to give you an introduction. So Julie Golob is one of the most accomplished professional shooters in the world, with more than 130 championships titles in international, national, and regional marksmanship competition in 7 different shooting disciplines. A veteran of the elite U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit, she was awarded U.S. Army Female Athlete of the Year, a member of the Smith & Wesson shooting team. Her list of titles includes the prestigious Bianchi Cup, Steel Challenge, USPSA, IDPA, and ITSE competitions, and Shot Business Person of the Year. Julie is a dedicated ambassador of and shares her passion for gun safety, shooting sports, and hunting as an outdoor television personality, instructor, guest speaker through JulieGolob.com. She's also a fellow author with 2 books, Shoot, Your Guide to Shooting and Competitions, and her latest work, which we're going to be talking today about that, which is Toys, Tools, Guns, and Rules, a children's book on gun safety. Oh my goodness, this is an honor to have her. Well, there she is, the awesome Julie Golob. Thank you, Julie. I wanted to share the video because I still have goosebumps when I watch it. I have my son and I think about those things, and I always thought about those things. And well, why don't you tell me what is this book and what inspired you? Who inspired you? And I'm sure the answer is going to go, but there you go.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. Holy smokes, you're like a one-woman Wonder Woman. Create me on Facebook. Yeah, I'm honored and excited to be your second guest. Although I wasn't first, I'll forgive you for having Jen on. She's awesome. As a mom, I'm always looking for resources for my kids to help teach them about firearm safety and the shooting sports and the importance of the Second Amendment. And our industry, let me preface this by saying, has phenomenal programs with the National Shooting Sports Foundation's Project Child Safe. They work with, McGruff the Crime Dog, and then of course we have Eddie Eagle through the NRA. They're incredible. But I wanted something that kind of jumped into it a little bit more, that gave a little bit more information, that talked about the different types of firearms, that they can look different, they can be different colors and different materials. And I also wanted to talk about the different parts of a gun and why they're dangerous, because I feel like, and you know this, Gabby, kids are curious. And the more you give them, I feel like the less they're interested and less enticed they are to do something that they shouldn't do. So,
and Julie, and one thing that I think adults, regardless of the side of the spectrum or where you believe or you don't, what people forget is that we were all children. Just put yourself on your 20, 30, 40 years ago and see, oh my God, I would have totally done that, Yeah. And that's the thing, that we think oh no, the children, they do this. You were a child at one point. You do certain things that you were not supposed to do. Who did everything that your parents said to do?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's a button, you want to push it. If there's a dial, you want to turn it. If there's a trigger, you want to pull it. And
Yes.
so, we talk to kids about not touching the stove and not fooling around with those buttons and doing all of these things. But so many parents are so terrified about guns and firearms in general that they don't have the conversation with their kids about firearm safety, and they don't try to demystify them and create these rules. And that is why I wrote this book, to establish, hey, there are all sorts of things around you as a kid that you can't touch, and there are reasons for that. This is another thing in that, arsenal, so to speak, of toys and tools and all of that, and we need to establish rules for that.
And I think it's so important because we only think about firearms as a thing. Like I tell parents, okay, let's say you don't have a firearms in your house, but does that mean that you're going to keep your children away from the world? Like he's not going to go to a friend's house and then a friend's house, or just on the street. If you don't give the tools, the information, they'll find the information anywhere else.
And you want to, and you know this, Gabby, you want to be person your baby boy comes to
Yes.
find out the answers. You want to be that person who's going to be committed to helping them grow. And he knows that he can always come to you to find out what's right and wrong and what he needs to do to stay safe. I mean, that's our job as a parent.
And another thing, Julie, like this is a very true example that I wanna tell and share with our guests, is that with everybody who's watching, my son, he's allergic to bananas.
Really?
Yes. So I was freaked out because I freaked out the first time because that was the first food I tried to give him. So I was so excited. Oh, he's going to have bananas. They're so yummy, delicious. And he just had a horrible reaction, red. I would rush to the emergency. He then at one point, he couldn't even open his eyes. So you can imagine, I was freaking out. So my sister, thank God my sister was with me. And after everything, they gave him some medicines and stuff. We came home and my instinct, but listen to this, my first instinct was, I won't have bananas in my house. I will remove all bananas, and I love bananas. We're not going to eat any. And then my sister looked at me and she said, and what he's going to learn? When he goes to his friend's house, he won't know that he's allergic to it. He needs to understand that he's allergic to it. He should not eat it. He cannot touch it or whatever.
Right. Absolutely. It's, it's we see it even in schools. Like my daughters are a little bit older, and one of them is in elementary school, and there's all sorts of rules about what snacks they can bring. They can't bring in things that you would pick off a tree.
Yes.
Because it has to be pre-packaged and ensured that it wasn't around anything with nuts. And I appreciate the fact that we want to protect children with allergies. Absolutely. But we also need to teach them, just like you said. I mean, we need to teach them that they need to avoid things that they know. Don't eat the Nutter Butters if you're allergic to peanut butter, right?
So the same thing happens with firearms. Even in the house, you can't just say, oh, no, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to have that conversation. Because if you don't have that conversation, that's when things, an accident happens. That's when kids don't pay attention where they were eating, or who knows, or just like we're talking about, firearm. And the same thing in the house. People take for granted also having a firearm. Are you sure your kids are, know about gun safety?
Right. My mom and dad, I think they did a pretty good job, let me just say. But,
they did an awesome job, okay? Let's put that very clear.
But, whenever we had a question, they were always there. We knew that we couldn't touch the firearms around the house, or if we saw them, whatever, there were rules. But if we had a question, my mom and dad always stopped and answered. They always showed us. Like, I can remember, even as a young girl, my dad showing me how to, clear a rifle, clear a pistol. And that kind of learning and awareness, even though I wasn't small enough to really be able to do it myself, it gave me this moment. It was a catalyst moment where, hey, dad and I can talk about something together, and he's going to respect me enough that I'm interested in it. And I'll tell you what, that respect thing is such a huge thing to have when you're teaching your kids. When they respect you, this bond forms. And like, I'm a daddy's girl. I'm a daddy's girl for life because of it. And it's something that I want to have happen with me and my kids.
Well, definitely safety comes and education comes in any way. Like I grew up in Venezuela, and my education and my introduction to firearms was over there in Venezuela. I'm not gonna say that we have like the best safety, rules and everything when it comes to firearms. I can't even say that because it was not like a super popular having firearms, but growing up, my parents just gave us those rules. And shooting, Olympic shooting, as I was shooting, I had my own air pistol and my 22. Bring home my own 22. I was probably maybe 15, 16 years old. So I could try fire because I had to practice countless of hours. And, I never did anything crazy, but hey, I knew that if I did something wrong,
that was fun. Your Olympic dreams would be over.
Yes,
period.
Everything.
Yeah. Consequences.
Being, teaching the children that you are responsible for your own actions, and definitely certain things are you just don't do it. For instance, so simple as you tell your children not to touch the top of the stove. Why? You're gonna get burned. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, and they don't do it. And you teach them and teach them and teach them. That's so awesome, Julie. And where can people find where do everybody can find the book?
Information about the book, the best place to do it is kidsgunsafetybook.com. All of the information is there.
So kids, let me write it. Kids gun safety book. Yes, I want to make sure everybody knows. Okay. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah. In addition to the book itself, there's a parent's guide that they can learn how to use and read the book in a way that's going to be effective. There's a next steps for when your children are a little bit older and they know a little bit more. And there's some coloring pages and downloads and some firearm safety rules that have been slightly adapted for kids so that you can continue to have the discussion and continue to evolve with it.
The big question that I get from a lot of people is that when is a good time to talk to my children about firearms and gun safety?
Now is always now. I've seen little ones, with pictures. It's so humbling. It's so awesome to see little kids with the book and seeing things and learning that message. I started talking about gun safety and having my daughters learn the firearm safety rules as soon as they were able to learn how to talk. I think every family does things a little differently.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but for me, I like to make sure that children understand the terminology and the purpose, even at a young age. So we've never called it a bang bang or a boomstick or a pow pow or anything like that. We've always called a firearm or a gun, a rifle or a pistol, and that sort of thing. And I think that's important because...
And also give respect to the item itself.
Absolutely. And, long gone are the days when, it was okay to play cowboys and Indians and good cop and bad cop and shooting at each other in the park kind of thing, because times have changed and we can lament about it because those were the good old days, or we can be progressive.
And fun.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And now, Julie, and now that we're talking about the book, and I'm so happy and very excited that you have the book. I can't even tell you because I have a surprise for everybody. Everybody knows that I'm not going to go to SHOT Show. Well, I just changed my mind, last minute decision. Yes, I'm going to make it only for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm going specifically to get my autographed copy for David.
Absolutely. No, that is awesome. And you know what, Gabby? I will give you an extra copy to give away on your show.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be there and I'm very excited to have a copy. So now that we're talking about children and everything, sometimes it's the same thing. You want to protect your children. You want to actually educate them so they have the tool and the knowledge to protect themselves. Put themselves away from danger. But as mothers, we talk about we are like mama bear. I'll do anything for my child. I mean, if I have to use my fingernails and break every single one, I'll do it gladly. And yet we do and see and hear so many, we so fight so hardly for those moms that can protect their children at home in the house, that can conceal and carry. I mean, what do you think about that?
Oh, it's the one thing I think we can do better and always improve is how we connect with single moms and
Yes.
women who are interested in learning about how to protect themselves, but may feel intimidated by going to a range or going to something as awesome as a gun show or whatever, because they don't feel like that they're connected with the people that are attending. And that's silly, because you know what? You can find a similarity in so many things. We need to learn to celebrate our differences, but we also need to connect based on the things that we're passionate about. And so I
think we need to also have that conversation open and say, okay, I understand that you disagree with me. You may not think certain things make sense to you. Why don't we sit down and try to make sense into everything? And I would like to talk to them too and say, what would you think that your ability to fight back with the same force or even stronger force to protect your child, your children's life, your own life, it's not worth it. I'm very eager to have that conversation, and not to change minds, because everybody think whatever they think, but at least they have that say that, this is something I told a teacher a while back. I said, you live in Florida. Nowadays, if you have the possibility, you can go and get a gun range, go to a gun range and get a firearm to protect yourself. Don't lose that right. Don't ever lose that right.
Even if you don't want to take advantage of it, don't give it away.
No, not at all. It's amazing. So, Julie, oh my God, world championships, moms, we are moms. We want to go and compete. You have probably, obviously, another world championship that you want to go to. I'm trying to train and get to the Olympics if I can. If I cannot do 2020, I'm definitely 2024. So, gosh, people would think, how do you guys do what you do? Why don't you tell us, how do you balance being a successful woman as, professionally, but also a wonderful, beautiful, and successful mother and wife?
Oh, thanks. I think it comes down to going all in on what matters. So a lot of people get distracted by things. A lot of people jump around and don't really have a defined goal or have an idea of what they want to accomplish in life. That's never been my problem. It's usually whittling it down so that it's more manageable. But for me, goal setting is huge, and setting realistic goals is absolutely key. I'm also like a crazy planner person. Like, I write everything down because I can't remember everything. I'm curious, do you do that too? I mean, how do you juggle it?
Well, you know what? And that's a way to do it. And one thing that people don't understand, and I learned this from somebody who told me, Gabby, you think you're smart and you think you can keep everything in your head. But Einstein, every time he had an idea, he would go where? To the board. And he will make a note. What makes you think you are smarter than him? I was like, you know what? Now that you put it that way, in those words, I think, yes, you're right. So it's just you have to. And that's why, you have to put your goals and everything on paper. I think that's a smart way to do it.
I think that a lot of people often dream too big. And I don't want to say that in a way that's negative, but they think or want to have something that's so far in the distance that they don't think about all of the steps along the way to achieve it. I like to tell people that winning is contagious. Once you figure out how to win once at something small, man, pick something else up and it'll just keep going and going and going, and you'll become addicted to winning. Yes. I'm a little addicted to winning. I admit it. But it's in everything I do. If I'm going to do it, I want to keep it 100%.
And I think that's the best example we can give our children. I'm tired. Like my son still doesn't sleep through the night after 16 months. He doesn't. and this is what I'm trying to do now. I'm like, okay, I can just have so much time to do what I do because I work from home. I work from home. I have my, like everybody have my dreams, expectations and everything. I want to train for USPSA, but I also want to train for Olympic shooting. So what is my solution? Well, wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning so you can train from 5 to 7 air pistol, then work out at 7 a.m. Then my son, he will wake up. But you have to do what you have to do if you want to achieve. There's no easy route, right? There's no really easy route to do things. Just you have to say, okay, this is what I want to do and what I'm willing to do to achieve it. And what people miss is the results don't come right away. And that's when a lot of people kind of move the other way around.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work. But when you get that moment, when you reach that goal, there's nothing quite in the world that feels like it. And I think that's one of the reasons that, you can feel that moment when you have a child, because you created it and you carried it through for the 9.5 months or however long it took. And, you had no choice. You had to make this happen, right? And that's why I think so many parents and moms feel so accomplished with bringing a child into the world, because they were able to have this process of 9 months to sticking to something to ensure that child, came into the world. So it's, if you look at your life and you think of all the little things that you've done that have been awesome and that you're really proud of, and then you think of the ways that you can apply that to something else you want to do, then I think that's a really good start.
It is. Oh, Julie, we love you. No, but that's the truth. That's the truth. And what I tell people too is that sometimes we get hung up too much on the negative, on the things that we didn't accomplish, or the things that happened to us that we're not happy about. But I look at it because I've had rough times in my life, very tough times. I've gone through tough times in my life, just starting coming here to a different country, and the story is long. But at the same time, I would say, what about if I stayed in that job?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here today.
No.
And I also tell people that when you are going through hard times, that is actually when you become creative, when you become like a go-getter. It's like, this is not going to get me. But that's why you have to keep the mindset even when things are great, because that's when you have the power to do it. So when things don't go so well, you can say, I know how it feels. I know how to do it. I know I can do it.
Yes, exactly.
No, that's awesome. So now I want to talk about you're running for the board of directors for the NRA.
I am.
That's awesome.
It is. It's exciting. It's humbling. It's an honor to have been selected by the nominating committee for. Because let's face it, I mean, a lot of people there are so many great volunteers with the National Rifle Association and so many people doing awesome work for the Second Amendment. And to get this nomination and have people recognize my work as a shooter is a really, really cool thing. So that is my platform. I am dedicated to growing our membership through giving our competitive shooting programs a little boost, a little kick in the you-know-what, and encourage them to grow and cultivate new programs so that we can continue to reach as many Americans. Because you know this, Gabby, when you take someone to the range who's on the fence about guns and they experience shooting for the first time, something magical happens.
It does. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't it? I think when I hear people that, oh no, firearms, I say, you just have fear of the unknown. Because if you only knew, your inside, your thought process would change drastically. And beyond, and like I say, beyond that, I mean, I look at it as an immigrant, as somebody who has still families in countries where gun registration exists, where gun laws, very strict gun laws exist, and they don't work for the better or for the well-being of the citizens. They only work for other things, but, Control. Yes, exactly, basically. And at the end of the day, you realize that, no, I come here, yes, I come as an immigrant, but guess what? I'm not just going to go back or bring the same thing that is happening in my country. Why would I do that? And that's something I'm going to start doing Spanish Tuesdays again, to educate not only the community here in the United States that speak Spanish, but also around the world, because this is a global, now we live in a global, community, everything that people in Venezuela and Mexico and Argentina and Chile, they can listen and understand, yes, why these people are just trying to put me down. So, I mean, it's so awesome that you are doing what you're doing. I'm definitely support you. Yes.
That's so cool. Can I also share our exciting news?
Yes. Oh my. Yes.
Well, for those of you who don't know, Gabby has been absolutely wonderful and has offered and is helping me to translate my children's book to Spanish. So hopefully by NRA annual meetings, we will have a Spanish version out there. And that will be yet another way you can, communicate this important message of firearm safety.
Definitely.
It's like a global thing, like you said.
And I love it. I love it. I mean, people ask me, do you have, well, you don't. I do get some of those comments. This is, you can only speak English or only speak English. I'm like, well, I speak Spanish too because I can. And whatever you can do it. I mean, you're powerful when you can do things. So the first thing is because I can. And the second thing is because we have to bring and educate as many people as we can. If I spoke Chinese or Mandarin, guess what? I would have done it in Mandarin as well.
Yes. Although I don't have time to learn Chinese right now. So that would be a nice thing to do. But absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Julie, our time, we're kind of running out of time. But I have a few, I know, but I want to have you next time, another time, obviously. But I have a few questions. This is just for fun. Okay? Right. This is fun. Just fun. Okay, first. What is the funniest thing that happened to you recently?
The funniest thing?
Yes.
Every single day, my little munchkins bring me so much joy and happiness, and the things that come out of their mouths are just incredible. And today, my littlest one, she's 4, Yeti, as many of you know her. She comes out and she's like, "Mama, can I wear this today?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." She's, "Mama, can I wear this today?" And so she comes out in this black dress with this gray hoodie, and she says, "I'm like Darth Vader, but not. I'm a good one." It's the things that kids say. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cute. So, question number 2. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh my goodness, I will never grow up, but I love doing lots of things. It's funny. When I look at all of this and what I've done with my life, as I get older and slower and don't shoot as fast and have to really work hard at it, I want to leave a legacy for the shooting sports. I want to have been somebody that people could have always come to for shooting and to learn about guns and in a safe way, in a safe space. And yeah, that would be amazing. I don't know as if I have any other specific goals. I have a few more shooting things that I want to accomplish, but it'd be neat to leave a legacy.
Definitely. That's awesome. What inspires you, or who inspires you?
Oh my gosh, so many people. I think that if you stick to just one hero to look up to or just a handful of people, you really limit yourself because you can learn from so many people. What you're doing, Gabby, inspires me. What people are doing every day for the NRA inspires me. What people are doing every day for women's rights. I look at the actions of what so many people do for all the right reasons, and it's such a neat thing. And then, we've got our lifelong people that we can look up to. Abraham Lincoln, Annie Oakley, Teddy Roosevelt. There's so many people.
And you just kind of brought a hint of my last question.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And this is because my question is, if a time machine could take you anywhere for one day, who would you like to meet and what would you talk about?
Oh,
I told you I was going to put you on the spot.
The easy one, the absolute easy one is Annie Oakley. Not only because she was absolutely an amazing shooter, but she did it at a time when it was really hard for women to do that, really hard. But she was also this huge advocate for, women's rights and equality and the things that she did and the steps that she was willing to take. And the fact that, she always supported women being able to protect themselves and be able to stand up for what they believed in. I would love to have met her.
That's awesome. And there you have it, Julie Golob, the amazing Julie Golob. Thank you, Julie, for being here on my show, my new show.
I want to be back.
Yes. It's so much fun. I'm very, like I am. There's not much, my English is not perfect. That's why I can't, I thought about podcasts, but then will people be like, what did she talk? What did she say? It's different when you have a video.
You know what? When your message is clear, it doesn't matter if it's not absolutely clear.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Julie, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to having you, 10 times, 20 times, as many times as you want to. If you want to share something great, something new, or just want to chat and have fun with me, hey,
we'll get to Hug and Chat Show.
Yes, yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for having me. You see what I'm talking about? Thank you, Julie. It was a pleasure to have you.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. And everybody who's been commenting, I'm going to hang out in the comment sections here today to make sure that I answer and say hey. And I know we've been just gabbing with Gabby, being frank with Franco.
Yes.
All the time, but I'm going to make sure I take the time for you guys too.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Julie. I love you all. And I may be here tomorrow, so stay tuned. Bye-bye.